Okay, great. All right, we're going to get started. Thanks for bearing with us. And thank you for Dr. Carpenter for being here tonight. We're just going to do a short presentation before she speaks with us, okay? So my name is Nicole. I'm your research chair. You're actually a research chair. This is Austin, our co-chair. And today we're going to be talking about the research process, basically getting started, how to pick your topic, and narrow it down to your research question. So this PowerPoint will be available for everybody on the SGA website as a reference. Okay, these first couple slides are saying the purpose of conducting research, why it's important for medical students. You can read this when you would like, when it's online available to you. But I really want to get into our main topic for the day. And also, you can refer to us for any questions you have. Also, our former chair, Hussein, if you guys know him, he's a great resource as well. And our deans, they're really involved in research and they want to help you. They want to make it a part of our curriculum. Actually, starting in January, all the newcomers are going to have a required research project by the time you graduate. All right, so now getting started. So the first thing you're going to do when identifying your topic is you don't want to jump right into like a search on databases because you're going to get really overwhelmed. You want to use your knowledge, what you already have, what you're interested in, what you want to do in residency, and you can kind of go from there. I gave this example. You're interested in psych, you can look at the topics, stress management, cognitive development, mental health, things like that. Then you can start narrowing it down into problems you want to explore. And you really want to think about things like incidence and prevalence, risk factors, gradient diagnoses, treatments. And I gave this example here. If you want to do something more quality improvement, like workflow processes and things like that, it'll just kind of help you pick your general area of what you want to explore to do your literature search or your review of the literature. Here is where you're going to help really refine your topic. So you can go onto these certain databases like the ones that you can see below. And you're going to choose like 5 to 10 articles, do the most recent you can find for sure. And what you're looking for here is what has already been studied. And then you're looking for gaps. You're looking for gaps or unanswered questions. And I put this bullet point here, ask yourself, is there enough info that where I can write a literature review in the future? We're going to talk about literature reviews a little bit later, but you're going to keep that in mind as well. And some tips for finding the gaps. So a gap really, you can kind of narrow it down to either no solution, a conflicting solution, or there is a solution, but it's kind of unreliable or not really agreeable. And here you can, there's sometimes sections in research articles that have like a limitation section. If they have that, that's key to clue in on. And you can look for these keywords because if they're looking for directions or opportunities, that could be an opportunity for you. And here you can look for your key concepts. Look where there's a lot of gaps. So, I mean, I gave this example. There definitely is a lot of research on that topic, but it's just an example to get the wheels turning. And then once you have your key concepts, you should look back again just to make sure that those gaps haven't been filled before you go and talk to an experienced mentor. And this is really important. You should go to somebody who is in the field that you're looking to go into, and you can just introduce yourself and just ask them, is this a good topic? They will give you good constructive criticism here, and you should be prepared to maybe have to go back to the literature research again, especially if you're just starting out. But it's really just to help you. And it's only going to help you improve the overall design and quality of your research. And again, this is a great networking opportunity as well, because if you go to somebody who you think can help you, they might say, maybe this isn't their specialty, or they're not so much into research. They can direct you to somebody that they know. And they might do that. They say, well, what about this person? And you can make your own connections that way too. And it just gives you more of a collaboration with people in the field that you are most interested in. Can also give you an opportunity to connect with classmates with shared academic interests, and that's great as well. They can also give you access to their resources, their databases, and things like that, which can help you make your research project more legitimate. And now going into your research question, of course, you need it to be clear, specific, and answerable. I put relevant here because that's something important to think about too, especially when you're going into your residency interviews and they're asking you about your research. You can tell them about the research all you want, but the most important thing is to be able to relate it back to why you did it and why it's relevant, how it can help your future patients, and how it can help the scientific community in general. Those topics there will help set you aside from everybody else who's doing research as well, which is everybody. I gave some examples here that you guys can read. And I said, consider your methodology here as well, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. This slide is super important. So before you start your project, IRB approval, it's very important. I know certain research designs might not, you don't have to do it, but you should always do it anyway, especially if you're looking to submit to certain journals, because certain journals won't accept for publication without IRB approval. And this takes a long time, as I wrote there, 6 to 8 weeks. And then you're working on your protocol and design. This is for you, like put the work into this because you will thank yourself later. And it's something to refer back to. Make sure you're following your protocol as you continue to go on, because your research will evolve as you develop deeper knowledge about what you're studying and what you're researching. It will evolve, but you want to make sure you're following that same methodology throughout the entire thing. And then you should discuss with your mentor every step of the way, just to make sure you're both on the same page. You're not veering off track anywhere. So that's very important. And then building a team is great as well if you can. It's hard to do this all on our own. I know we all want to be first authors, but starting out, it's good to build a team, get together with students with a shared interest. And we're medical students, so our time is very precious. Being able to do that, you can make your clear roles and responsibilities so you can be as efficient as possible. Talking about the methodology alignment, I made this chart here. These are not all of the research types and data collection, but these are some. I bolded analytical and correlational because I know a lot of medical students kind of go that route more, especially because, like I said, our time is precious. And even though bench work is really fun and exciting, I've been able to do that before too. It is a lot of work, a lot of time, and sometimes you get very little results. So we want to maximize our time. And sometimes these types of research can be beneficial to us in that way, especially if we want to go on to present like posters at conferences and things like that. So you guys can take a look at this. And my advice here is to spend time thinking about that and go back to your research articles and look at what their methodologies were, how they collected their data. Can you do it that way? What errors they ran into, so you can keep that in mind as well. And that's a pretty solid way to go about it if you're confused about the methodology, but you want to make sure that's really consistent throughout. Okay. And then ethical considerations, always keep this in mind. It goes along with the IRB guidelines, and you can read this on your own. And okay, so that was the main part of the research process I wanted to go over. At our next workshop, we can do reporting, evaluating, writing, peer reviewing, and publishing, maybe presenting, or that can be a separate one. But I just wanted to get you guys thinking about how to start thinking about your research topic and narrowing it down to a question, the necessary steps you need to take to set yourself up for success. I'm going to hand it off to Austin. He's going to talk to us a little bit about ways to contribute. I guess I don't really use this.
Other research what I'm more familiar with is actually case reports. So case reports are a summary of a rare or unusual clinical conditions and unique use of treatment or interventions. For us and for physicians around the globe, they are a great way to improve awareness across different areas and different specialties. They can be completed as a side project to your main research projects, and plus they look good in applications. For us medical students, case reports are easily written in a few hours or over the weekend. They can easily be turned into a poster presentation or an oral presentation that you could present to in regional or national conferences. Last year, I did a little oral presentation, Dr. Shekarapa's, the GOPI conference back in April. I think they're going to have one again this or next April around that time. So also regarding case reports, I also did a little presentation. It's uploaded onto the TSON's SGA's YouTube account on how to write case reports. It's about 40 minutes and I go point by point describing how to write a case report. But nonetheless, here are the core components of a case report. You have the title, abstract, introduction, case presentation, discussion, and conclusion. And so regarding the title, you want to do something like kind of catchy. The abstract, it's an important part of the article as it could be freely accessible for others to read on online databases like PubMed, Google Scholar, stuff like that. Also, another component is the introduction, which summarizes the background information on the topic area. You also have the case presentation, which includes the patient history, followed by the differential diagnosis, intervention, treatments, and outcomes. Next, you have the discussion, which explains the rationale and the approach in regards to your case report and the uniqueness of the case. And also you have the conclusion, which should be the concise or brief statement explaining the importance or relevance of the case and the purpose of the paper. So, little template about how to write case reports. This is going to be available onto the SGA research website. Just a side note, this list is not exhaustive and you don't need to include every single one in your case report, nor do you need it. This is just a nice little outline. So here's an example recently published. It's not a metastatic or the other tumor. Shows all of them. And here's also other Palin, Trinity, whether it's here. Another thing you could do on top of also literature reviews, which are basically a critical summary of existing research on a topic drawn from academic sources, like online databases. And highlight influential studies and identify themes, debate, depth knowledge within a specific field or specialty medicine. There are different ways to structure your literature review, or there's different ways to structure literature reviews depending on what you want to focus. Like thematic, which is organized around several key themes, or how research conducted method, which you can conduct like different types of method studies across different studies. Here's examples of literature review I kind of pulled out.
Okay, yeah, this is just our little summary. So you can start small with our case reports, literature reviews, or just talking or your peers. It's good to network and collaborate with other students always. Time management, I mean, work with medical students first and foremost, but this actually can help with time management. We have things instead of just going to clinic every day. It's good to make schedule for ourselves. And whoever needs help, to reach out to us. Again, your deans and then our preceptors and other mentors. We're there for us, and we shouldn't be afraid to ask if we need help, right? All right. And
I'm not gonna use this chaos because that's not how I work. Caleb hasn't had me in didactics yet. Yeah, I don't know if you've come to didactics when I've been there.